The storm rolled in fast that evening, sweeping across the open fields of Willow Creek like it had something to prove. The sky was bruised purple, the wind carried dust, and people rushed indoors. But inside the grand glass hall of the lakeside resort, the storm wasn't the only thing stirring trouble. A millionaire stood frozen near the bar, staring straight at her ex-fiancé, who had walked in with someone new, laughing like the past never happened. Her name was Madison Hale. Powerful. Composed. Always ahead of the game. But not tonight. Tonight her hands shook, her breath hitched, and her heart felt like it was sliding down her ribs in slow motion. She needed help, and not the kind money could buy. That's when she saw him. A cowboy leaning against the far wall, hat tilted low, boots dusty from real work, not weekend shows. His name was Luke Carver. Madison didn't know him, had never spoken to him, but something about him looked solid, grounded, like the type of man who didn't break his word. So she walked toward him, trembling slightly, and said the wildest thing she had ever said in her entire life: "Pretend to love me in front of my ex-fiancé." Hey everyone, before we continue, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to help us grow our storytelling family here on Kindness World. Your support means everything and helps us bring you more emotional stories every day. Luke blinked at her, confused but calm. "Ma'am. I don't even know your name." She swallowed hard. "Madison. Madison Hale. Please. I can't let him see me fall apart. Not tonight." Luke studied her for a long second. He wasn't the type to get involved in rich people drama. But he could tell her smile was a mask. And he knew the look of someone hurting. So he tipped his hat, leaned close, and said softly, "All right. I got you." He stepped forward and placed a gentle hand on her back, guiding her toward the crowd with the quiet confidence of someone who'd spent his life calming nervous horses. And when Madison's ex turned around to see them together, Luke didn't hesitate. He slipped his arm around her waist like it was the most natural thing in the world. Madison felt her breath return in pieces. Luke stood tall beside her, warm and steady, grounding her like an anchor. For the first time in months, she felt safe. Her ex raised an eyebrow. "You moved on fast." Luke chuckled, low and easy. "Hard not to, partner. She's special." The way he said it, simple, sincere, made Madison's throat tighten. It wasn't flirtatious. It wasn't exaggerated. It was just kind. And somehow that kindness cracked something open inside her. Throughout the night, Luke stayed by her side. He didn't cling. He didn't play it up. He just supported her quietly. When she grew overwhelmed, he leaned in and whispered, "You all right?" When her ex tried to spark jealousy, Luke steered her toward a quieter corner. When people around the room whispered, Luke shielded her with calm, steady presence. At some point, when the music softened and the storm outside finally eased, Luke said, "You don't owe that man anything, Madison. You know that, right?" She looked away. "I know. I just didn't expect it to hurt this much." Luke nodded. Heartbreak don't care about bank accounts. Pain's pain. A small, shaky laugh escaped her. "You're surprisingly wise for someone who pretends to love strangers on demand." "I did that once," he said with a little smirk. "Don't plan on making a habit of it." Madison felt herself warm in a way that had nothing to do with the heated room. She felt seen. Not as a millionaire. Not as a businesswoman. Not as the woman who had been left. Just seen. Later in the night, when they stepped outside for fresh air, the storm had left everything glistening, the grass, the pavement, even the wooden fences in the distance. The world smelled like rain and second chances. Madison wrapped her arms around herself. "Thank you," she said. "You didn't have to help me. You don't even know me." Luke adjusted his hat and smiled softly. Didn't need to know you. You looked like someone who needed a hand. That's enough. Kindness. That was all it was at first. Simple, human kindness. But the moment stretched, and something shifted in the quiet between them. Madison found herself studying the lines of his face, the steadiness in his eyes, the sincerity in the way he stood, like he wasn't trying to impress her or take advantage of the moment. He was just Luke. What if, she whispered, I didn't want it to be pretend anymore. Luke's breath hitched, not much, but enough. Madison. Are you sure this ain't just the hurt talking? She stepped closer, shaking her head. It's not the hurt. It's the way you treated me tonight. No one has cared like that in a long time. Luke looked at her for a long moment. The rain had softened into mist and drifted around them like a curtain. Finally, he said, then I guess, we see where it goes. From that night on, Madison and Luke began talking, slowly at first. Coffee in town. Weekend walks. Shared stories. Madison learned he ran a small ranch with his brother, worked long days, loved the sunrise more than sleep, and believed people deserved kindness even when they didn't ask for it. Luke learned Madison wasn't just a powerful businesswoman, she was thoughtful, generous, lonely in ways she didn't show, and stronger than she realized. Their worlds were different, sure. But kindness built a bridge between them. People in town whispered. Some doubted it. Some said it wouldn't last. But Madison and Luke didn't listen. They laughed more. Talked more. Held on to each other through good days and hard ones. And slowly, quietly, something real grew between them. One evening, months later, Luke looked at her across the porch where they sat watching the sun melt behind the hills. You know, he said quietly, that night you asked me to pretend. I didn't know I'd end up falling for you. Madison reached for his hand. I fell for your kindness before anything else. And maybe that's how the truest love stories begin, not with fireworks or perfect timing, but with one simple act of kindness that changes everything. Madison didn't just move on from her past. She walked straight into a future built on something honest. Something gentle. Something real. And Luke? He found love where he least expected it, in the heart of a woman who needed kindness on the stormiest night of her life. So remember this, one kind gesture can rewrite an entire story. Sometimes it doesn't just comfort someone, it transforms both lives forever.